Hello, if you guys are interested in doing a quick walkthrough of some different notebook stationery that I have, stick around because we're going to go through them in just a moment. Walkthrough of some different stationery books that I have. I am actually going to add this one to the list. Mostly for like paper purposes so that you guys can get a little bit of an idea of the paper and the different qualities that are out there. I really have only, I guess, kind of started collecting stationery notebooks. Not really collecting them. I just do like to try different things. And so I have a few here that I thought we would go over. Some of these things you guys are familiar with and some of them you may not be. So I thought maybe I would just add this video to get that out there so that people could get a rough idea of what some of these papers are like. So I am going to try and categorize them by what I think are the thinnest papers to the thickest. So we will start with one of the thinnest. So the thinnest paper that I currently have is the Tomoe River paper. And this one is found in the Hobonichis, as well as this particular one is a Naname Cafe Notes, and this is in the A6 size. I had tried this out in a different book that I had or cover that I had, and I ended up selling it. This particular notebook is a lilac A6 from Foxy Fix, but the size is a little bit too small for me, so I don't end up, liking A6 a whole ton, but I do love the Tomoe River paper, so I am always drawn to it. Now, let me see. I can at least show you this. So it will ghost, as you can see, with writing. So this is my new TWSBI fountain pen that I use to actually write these. And so you can see on the one side that the paper, the ink has like sort of ghosted through. It bled through well, that's not technically completely bleeding through, but pretty close. So it just depends on how wet your pen is with the Tomoe River paper. It does do well, like it writes really well with the fountain pens. It does have that, like I said, that thinness as you end up. I know I'm really not supposed to put these apparently in, but I really like my books to close like this, but I guess I'm not supposed to slide that in the front, so my book doesn't really want to close all that well. So it's supposed to just stay like this, I guess. Kind of weird, but whatever. But I do, sorry, bunny trail. I do like the Tomoe River paper because it does take watercolor fairly well. It gets that like crunchy. Let me pull an old one out so that they have it in the weeks. So you can see this was my last year's weeks, and such a satisfying sound to me. So it does take ink really well, as you can see. So I do like it for that purpose. So that is with Tomoe River paper. So that's one. The next one, and I'm honestly not entirely sure that this would be considered the next thickness size, but we're gonna go with it. This is the soft cover B6, and it's a little bit more of a slim size because this is next to the Nanami. Now, or Nanami, never mind. It's next to my Stationery. My brain is not functioning. I guess I need a second coffee this morning. So lining the books up, you can see it's a little bit taller. I have this one in a jelly cover. Let's take it out because we really want to see the books, not the covers. So this is just a cover that I made that you guys can see in my DIY section. So you can see that it's pretty close to the same width. It's a little bit smaller, just a tiny little bit smaller, but it is taller, which is a bit of a bummer for me because if I were to actually use this book, I would have to have it trimmed, and then it really wouldn't function the way it needs to function. So paper-wise, this one is fairly thick, and I'm going to pull the other one that I have in the A5 size out and compare it. This was my bullet journal. I'm thinking they're going to be the same. Yeah. These two are pretty much the same. So it's definitely thicker than the Tomoe River paper for sure. I can show you here. So trying to find a page where you can see the back. You can see there is still some ghosting, but because this paper is a little bit thicker, you don't see it quite as much on the page. So, and I mean, it does write. Let's find a page that I haven't written in. So, give that just a second to dry because it does take a little second. You can definitely see ghosting, but it's not quite as much, and it writes pretty well, you know, with a fountain pen on this paper. So in my opinion, you know, some people are very, very picky on their paper. I like all paper. So I'm definitely not as picky as some, but in my opinion, the like terms do they do write well. So I was just looking to see if on here they listed the exact GSM. So it's 80 on the like term. I don't ever say that right, but that's okay. So it's 80 on this. On the Tomoe River paper, that's 68. So this is definitely thicker. So next for me is my Stationery. I use this in the B6 size. That is my happy place for the B6. This paper is, so it does only come in the grid. So for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe it's the sheen or the feel of the paper, but the Stationery paper to me is just so satisfying. Now, with that being said, I only kind of use mine more for a basic everyday like bullet journal. I don't really use it for doing my watercolor, so I'm not really sure how well it would take paint or watercolor. It is a 5mm grid, so if you can see the boxes, and the paper is only 52 GSM, so it's pretty thin. And it's funny because the way it's made, it definitely does feel, to me, thicker than Tomoe River paper, but on the website that I looked up, it said that it was 52. So there that is. But I love this book. I don't know why. Maybe it's the size, maybe it's the sleekness, but I'm very drawn to the basic Stalogy. So I have a lot of these. So that's that book. The next one that I bought, actually I got this one as a gift, and this one comes from Amazon, and I just thought they had some covers that were just so beautiful. This particular one is in the A5 size. It has 192 dot grid pages. It does it say the GSM? No, I don't see it, but there is the actual book if you guys are interested in looking this one up. So this particular paper is it's similar to the Leuchtturm paper. It feels a tad thinner, but it is very similar. It has a little bit more of that stiffness. For me, I'm not really, well, I had gotten it as a gift for my birthday, I believe, from my daughter. I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for yet. This one just kind of sits on my shelf and looks pretty for right now. But I think it will handle very similar to the Leuchtturm. I'm not going to do a pen test on it because, like I said, I don't really know what I'm going to use this one for, and I don't really want to mark it up in case, I don't know, I decide to do something different with it. But so that's that one. It does also have a very similar look to the Leuchtturm with the elastic that they have, and the same with a back pocket, just like the Leuchtturm. So, and it's just pretty, it has these like rose gold foil accents on the front cover, and I just thought that that was really pretty. The next one that I have is an Archer and Olive, and this one I got from my daughter for Mother's Day. She knows I'm a stationery freak, so she bought this one for me. And isn't that just, it's stunning. It's a super, super hard cover. You can see the thickness of it. And these ones do actually come with their own pen loop. Now, the Archer and Olive is very, very thick paper. So this is a 160 GSM, and you can see that, like, it makes you feel like there's 2 pages there, but it's just one, and that's because it's just so thick. So what I asked for this one for was so that I could actually someday, when I'm not so busy, I can start doing hand lettering with it. So it's not really supposed to bleed through that much, and I've seen a bunch of videos where people are doing it, writing in it, and there's not a lot of bleed through. So I will just make a little mark, because like I said, I know for sure I'm going to use this one as, so that was with a, what was that? Food no Suki Tombow. This one here. So, okay. So you see it there, and voila, there's no bleed through. So That's really why I got this one, just so that I could do my hand lettering practice in it. And I think it's going to be great for that. I am excited for when I do actually have time. It's something I kind of want to take up, but just going through the book, and that is definitely something that they tout, is that their paper is supposed to be bleed free. I have seen it bleed with some videos that I watched, but, and then they do have the back pocket here as well, and then they have a built-in pen loop. And they do actually also have 2 bookmarks that are built in as well. So it's a super cute notebook, and I'm excited to use that for my hand lettering. This one I just pulled out just as a comparison for paper. This is a handbook by Global Art Materials, and I'm not sure if this is actually watercolor paper, but it's very thick. So you can see. And so this one I took with me traveling, just playing with different things. I was like playing with faces, just kind of, you know, I'm not an artist. It's definitely one of those things that, you know, I'm learning as I go. So I was just kind of playing here. So I just wanted to kind of compare, you know, using books for art as well, that there definitely are books that are just like watercolor paper. I use this little one here. I think that this one is actual watercolor paper. This is another handbook. It's just a smaller size. So I use this one for my watercolor swatches. And so you can see that I have literally, I swatched, and I think I still have the video up if you guys are bored and have lots of time on your hands. I did actual swatching video of all of my swatches into this book. So these are all of the watercolor colors that I have. I have this main page front and back that I can kind of write. And I did leave a little bit in between so that if I get more like yellows and oranges, I can add them. So this paper feels definitely thinner, even though it's the same company. This is definitely thinner than this one. So I did find like I would have to put a book on this when I watercolored, because like you can see it tries to buckle up a little bit when you put a lot of stuff on there. So but this is definitely a thicker paper, so you know, this is something that you would use for doing different art medias and such. So those are pretty much all of the books that I have in a nutshell, varying from the thinnest to the thickest. And kind of what I use them for, or what my plan of using them for. A few of them, like I said, just kind of sit on my shelf for right now, and eventually I will find a reason to use them. If you guys have any questions about any of these notebooks, please feel free to ask, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!